to get to the root of the matter for immigration in Ontario, to actually ensure that Ontario continues to attract the best and brightest from around the world. We must address the province's job crisis and balance the books as soon as possible. Anything less, in my opinion, would be a disservice to the countless immigrants who have decided to call Ontario home. Mr. Speaker, during my time in office, I've had the remarkable opportunity to meet and chat with people throughout the province and have met many newcomers as well. You really do learn something every day in this job, and learning about many different cultures that make up Ontario is one of the most rewarding experiences that I really have ever had. In my riding of Chatham-Kent, Essex, we have people from around the world immigrating here. Well, there. People from Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, South America, and of course other parts of North America, including the USA and Mexico. And it all seems that cultures are united by their love of three things: family, friends, and food. But in all seriousness, Mr. Speaker, Ontario is a province built by immigration. These newcomers to Ontario are often fiercely proud of the province and country that welcomed them with open arms. Hearing their excitement, their enthusiasm to simply be here should serve as a constant reminder to all of us of just how lucky we are to live in such a great part of the world. Some are born here, others come by choice, but at the end of the day, we're all proud to call Ontario and Canada home. For those who have decided to move to Ontario rather than any other place in the world, we owe it to them to deliver on promise that their new home is indeed a land of opportunity. There needs to be a real chance to gain meaningful employment for all Ontarians of this province to continue to attract the best and brightest from around the world. And to current Ontarians, we have the responsibility to ensure that our immigration system responds to the needs of the province. In many areas of the province, including my riding of Chatham-Kent, Essex, populations are decreasing, and there is a demand for skilled jobs and healthcare professionals. A well-thought-out, responsive immigration system can help address these concerns. And luckily, the federal government is leading the way and taking a responsible approach to immigration policy reform. Ontario must work together with the federal government to ensure that Ontario's economic needs are met by new Canadians. However, we have at times seen a reluctance to work with the federal government by the McGuinty-Wynne Liberals. Lately, Ontarians have seen the Minister of Transportation berating federal ministers on social media, while the Finance Minister blames Ottawa for the Liberals' own economic mismanagement. That's not what my constituents want to see. And quite frankly, Speaker, I don't think anyone in Ontario wants to see that. My constituents want to see a government that's willing to work with others for the betterment of all, not jeopardize our ability to compete on a global market by failing to work in good faith with other governments. Ontarians want and need to see action from their government. By playing political games, the Liberals may have compromised Ontario's ability to attract highly desired, skilled immigrants to the province. For the sake of my constituents, I hope that the Minister of Citizenship and Immigration has been able to take a more diplomatic approach than some of his cabinet colleagues have shown in recent weeks. One of the key areas that Bill 161 seeks to address is the provincial nominee program. Now, this program is designed to fill labor shortages by allowing employers who can't find qualified Ontarians to sponsor prospective immigrants and allow the province to nominate these individuals on their behalf, tailoring immigration to the province's labor needs. Currently, Ontario has 2,500 provincial nominee spots available, while provinces like Alberta, British Columbia, and Saskatchewan have 5,000 spots available. Provinces like Manitoba and Saskatchewan that have taken full advantage of this program have seen their immigration rates double and triple respectively. And as a result, these provinces enjoy some of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. Meanwhile, in Ontario, our overall share of immigration continues to fall. It's not hard to understand why. When looking at Ontario, immigrants see a province with high debt, high taxes, and an increasing lack of job opportunities. Many immigrants leaving countries with corrupt governments place a high value in accountability and transparency. Prospective Ontarians may think twice to move to a province whose government is under police investigation for the deletion of public documents. Government secrecy and a lack of accountability is what many immigrants have left behind, and they will not tolerate it in their new home. The Ontario PC Party, Speaker, believes that every single new Canadian should have a chance to work and prosper here in Ontario. And I really hope, Speaker, that that is also shared by the other parties in this hallowed sanctuary, the Ontario Legislature. That is our province's tradition. That's how Ontario was built. A chance for people to prosper and work in a place where they can be free and grow and enjoy the fruits of our country. On this side of the House, we've been waiting to see a comprehensive jobs plan from the government for months. The opposition cleared the decks at the end of last year to allow the government to bring forward a jobs plan. We're still anxiously awaiting the arrival of this jobs plan. And to truly serve our new citizens, we must ensure that their new home is prosperous. They come to Ontario seeking opportunity and a chance to get a good job with the hope of future generations to find even more success. We fear that Ontario is losing that prosperity. What was once a shining beacon of opportunity is now a faint glimmer of hope. Ontario alone received half of Canada's newcomers in 2006. As of 2012, Ontario only received 38% of newcomers to Canada. That's a shocking statistic. Mr. Speaker, new Canadians do their homework. Picking a new home is one of the most important decisions you could ever make. And it's clear to new Canadians that Ontario is not the engine of confederation that it once was. Increasingly, new Canadians are deciding to move to other provinces where prospects are in fact better. This trend may have severe consequences for many of our communities. Now, Speaker, I might add, we've put together a plan that will once again allow Ontario to be the engine of what I would call prosperity, which will attract more people. The old adage, build it and they will come. Let's build an economy where energy rates are low, where red tape is cut, and there's plenty of opportunity. Let's increase manufacturing. We can do this, and we can do it together, but we need to have that opportunity. You know, between 2006 and 2011 census, Chatham-Kent, my riding area, the census in Chatham-Kent's population dropped by 4.2%. I might add, Speaker, that in our riding of Chatham-Kent-Essex, we've lost over 11,000 manufacturing jobs since 2003. And that is drastic. That's tragic. That is so unfortunate. And I see people, a lot of these people, you know, back in my earlier years when I played sports with them, I taught some of their kids in some of my training programs and so on. I see these people now hurting and suffering because they've lost their jobs. Companies have actually pulled up, left Chatham, and gone elsewhere in the world, I might add. Leamington's overall population remained roughly the same through this period, but there are some troubling realities in the census data. The numbers show that other than the age groups between 45 and 69 and those 80 and older, Leamington saw a decline through all age groups. Since then, the news has not been good. Plant closings and downsizings have hit my riding hard over the past few years. Well, last month, actually it was several months now, back in November, Heinz announced that they were closing. But now, last month, there was an indication that they are in fact going to be recouping about 250 of those jobs, but that's still down from 740. But it's good news. It's still good news. But unfortunately, Speaker, it may not be enough to slow the loss of the population in the area as well. The initial loss of 740 full-time, 300 seasonal, and impact on 46 tomato growers was the darkest day in the history of Leamington. A more positive announcement of a new company creating 250 full-time and additional part-time jobs definitely, as I said before, was welcomed. It's wonderful news. But I shall ask the following question to the government. What about the 500 plus people who will still be out of a job? What is being done for them? Therein lies the challenge. Mr. Speaker, new Canadians come to Canada because they would see Canada as the land of milk and honey. But soon they discover, thanks in large to what the government has done over the last 11 years, that milk is sour and the honey has become hard. And while the reform found in this legislation to help Ontario take further advantage of the provincial nominee program is beneficial, it's only one piece of the puzzle. More must be done to attract immigrants beyond the relatively small number of nominees in the program. Solving those issues moves beyond the scope of this particular bill. The Ontario Immigration Act seeks to allow for the establishment of an employer registry or a recruiter registry. This would mean that there would be a registry for employers to select foreign nationals who provide or offer certain services for a selection program. This section of the bill came about largely to make the province compliant with the expression of interest regulations that the federal government will in fact release in 2015. This registry has been called for by the Ontario Chamber of Commerce. This will allow employers and immigration consultants to navigate the EOI system. Put simply, it means that we will be better able to address the skills shortages in our market, our labor market, more effectively. The government has in fact suggested that the creation of enforcement and compliance officers will be a revenue-neutral initiative. Now, therein lies some concern that I have. But without knowing the full scope of what needs to be or what will be needed or how many enforcement officers will be required, the government cannot definitely state that this exercise will in fact be revenue-neutral. We've seen costs quickly get out of hand in this Liberal government, so we'll watch closely to see if these costs grow beyond this initial forecast. Recently, a Toronto Star headline read, Pan Am Games security price tag jumps to $239 million, and further stated that with still more than a year until the 2015 Toronto Pan Am Games, the cost of security is already skyrocketing. On this side of the House, Speaker, we take all cost estimates with a massive grain of salt. Mr. Speaker, Bill 161 also includes an amendment to the Regulated Health Professions Act that should be highlighted. The amendment would allow for the creation of regulations that speed up the process of registering as a member of a particular college, requiring that the college of a health profession make registration decisions in a, quote, reasonable time. Well, what exactly is a reasonable amount of time? I'm sure that the respective health profession colleges will work with the government to determine what a reasonable amount of time is. When it comes to addressing our province's doctor shortage, action can't come soon enough. So sadly, Speaker, many Ontarians do not have a family doctor. And in rural or remote portions of the province, many residents only have access to a registered nurse on a day-to-day basis. Constituents in my riding of Chatham-Kent Essex certainly understand this reality. Many are unable to find a primary health care provider. Yep. During my time in office, I've been fortunate enough to shadow at both the Leamington District Memorial Hospital and the Chatham-Kent Health Alliance. They were absolutely wonderful hosts, Mr. Speaker. And there I was, in scrubs, shadowing doctors and nurses. It was a lot of fun, and it was incredibly a valuable experience for me to see and witness firsthand. While I was there, I was able to see firsthand the kind of quality care that the doctors, triage nurses, volunteers, and gerontology emergencies management nurses provide. I was also able to see them struggle to keep up. In Chatham-Kent, there is a massive doctor shortage that the municipality is working hard to try to overcome. I've been told that Essex County alone is in need of over 100 doctors. It's clear that we cannot fill all of these positions solely with doctors from Ontario. For my constituents, Speaker, it is unacceptable that qualified doctors are unable to practice due to any inefficient bureaucracy while they are desperately in need to access healthcare professionals. If this government is truly committed to preventative health care, they must take action on this issue now.
Today.
The health and well-being of our aging population is at stake, as is the health of future generations. This problem today is obvious. It's a problem that exists now, and it could be a crisis tomorrow if steps are not taken. My constituents hope that this bill can, in fact, speed up the process of qualified newcomers registering as a member of their health profession college. My riding desperately needs more health care providers, and Speaker, I will gladly support an amendment that will help address this crucial concern. It's vital. It's needed. It's not just my riding. If I look throughout this
Northumberland, Quinte West.
Northumberland, Quinte West, you know, I could start rattling off a number of the other ridings as well. They're desperately in need of healthcare professionals. Furthermore, if we don't address these critical issues immediately, we run the risk of Ontario becoming a less attractive option for skilled immigrants, Speaker, and foreign entrepreneurs looking to invest in Canada or start a business. We must act to create an environment that promotes investment in this province. We can do that by getting our fiscal house in order and stabilizing the province after years of credit downgrades and soaring debt. You simply can't continue to attract the number of skilled immigrants that this province requires if you do not have a thriving job market or enough healthcare professionals to give them proper care once they arrive. Unless urgent action is in fact taken, Ontario will continue to receive a diminishing share of skilled immigrants. That's unacceptable. We need to again restore the land of milk and honey, not sour milk and hard honey. I remember a saying I learned in school: good, better, best. Never let it rest until the good is better and the better best. Bill 161, Speaker, is a good bill. It's a good bill. It may be an old saying. I may have read it somewhere. You know, Speaker, it is in fact important to Ontario's immigration system, and for that reason, I will be supporting it. But we must address the bigger picture if our province is to remain a competitive province in the future. Right. We must reverse the trend that sees Ontario losing more and more of its share of skilled immigrants each passing year. And perhaps most of all, Speaker, we need a strong economy that can provide opportunity to all Ontarians. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much.
Here.
Questions or comments?